Summertime and the living is easy. Oh, I started way too low. Fish are jumping and the
Cotton.
cotton is high. One of these mornings, we're gonna rise up singing. And I don't know the rest.
So welcome to Just Peachy with Wendy and Deb.
I like it. That's
There
good.
we go. Our new hit.
Yeah.
It's not surprising that you stumbled on cotton is high because we don't grow cotton up here. You know,
Exactly.
the corn
it doesn't
is
come
high,
naturally.
maybe. Really,
Yeah.
the
corn is
soybeans, the grapes in our area,
Yeah,
the
it's really
grapevines are
like
high.
everything's really coming out now, eh?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've had cherries. We've had the strawberries are great. And now I'm looking at the fruit, the nectarines and the peaches. They're starting to look like they're fruit growing. We'll get them soon.
I guess really what I need to do is, we're doing the lives and surprise!
Surprise! Surprise, we're live.
We just kind of said, do we want to go live or record? And we said, let's go live. Because actually we got some pretty good views on YouTube last week. So
we did. But mostly it's
see.
because I'm lazy and I don't want to edit.
That's true. This makes it much easier.
It does.
But yeah, so because we don't have our normal intro, right? When we do it this way. So I think we need to write a little ditty for Just Peachy when we do the lives.
I think you're right.
Kind of like make it a sound effect that we can
Well, we
could.
Play. We could do that. Yeah. We could.
Just so people know it's Just Peachy with Deb and Wendy.
Well, they know us, so they know what it is. So, it's self-explanatory, really.
Yeah, but maybe for those that don't know us and maybe they stumble upon our YouTube and go,
what the hell are they?
Yeah. I mean, our normal topic is talking about the 70s, which we are going to actually talk a little bit about tonight.
We are. We
figure. And after last week drinking the Cosmo, a little more expensive than I realized that I paid for the bottle when I went to buy another one. And it was a little potent as well, shall we say?
Wendy got bombed.
So tonight I'm just going to be sipping on some red wine.
Well, there you go. I was actually going to drink a beer, but I never got around to it. I'm off my antibiotics now, so I probably could. I don't know why.
Go for it.
I might. But right now I have water because I have to hydrate today. I've hardly had any water.
Oh, this is summer.
It's extremely hot.
Oh, I had to run out earlier and oh my gosh, it was so warm. And I live in an apartment, as I've said before. So I have the air conditioning running, which isn't doing its job really, unless I want to put it down to 15 maybe, but it's working very hard. But I have fans going to help kind of offset. And it's just, it's as Mom would say, it's not the heat, it's the humidity.
Yeah. Well, it is the humidity. I mean,
yeah, it just seeps through. It's
a delightful 23 until you pile on the humidity.
Oh,
it's crazy. Yeah. Nope. It's been, I've been right in the house today. Yesterday I was all over the world. I went everywhere.
So that's why we kind of thought last minute that we do this tonight, because it feels like the hazy, I'm going to be so, what's the word I want? So cliche tonight, the hazy days of summer.
The lazy, hazy days of summer.
The lazy, hazy days of summer.
The days of pretzel and soda and beer.
Yep. And this would be about the time of year we probably would break out what was known back in the 70s, our Jesus sandals. Right? Right. They'd be a brand new pair. And if you can picture them, it's just brown leather that you put your big toe through and had a band going across.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to break them in, you had to put your feet in a bucket of water.
They're also water buffalo sandals.
Yeah, but for some reason they were referred to as Jesus. Mm-hmm. That leather, distinct leather smell. And then, so you try to break them in that way, you'd walk around in them, but then your feet would be stained brown for a couple of days on the leather.
I know.
You remember that?
I could not wear them. Because I don't know if it's the way I walk, but I would scoop. So I'd end up tripping all the time. It's just the way that my feet work. I don't know. So I would, if I had sandals on, I would end up like snow plowing all the gravel. It was very uncomfortable. So
and I think I got a new pair every year. And the funny thing, when I moved to Guelph, I joined a walking club, and we were doing this walking race, and we all won the same T-shirt. So we went down to this store on Highway 6, close to Hamilton, and they sold the water buffalo sandals there.
Oh my gosh.
And I was so excited, and I got a pair, and I didn't soak my feet in them. I never got that far, but I put them on once I got home. Went, how did I ever wear these?
I don't know how people did. I don't know. It's like walking on.
Yeah, I mean, no support. I mean,
No support.
because I was that much older too, right? And add maybe 40 pounds onto what I was when I was in my teens
And
wearing these.
your feet have arches now. You know, it's just like makes a difference. Yeah, they were crazy. That whole I avoided that. Now I did wear the bell bottoms. I was into the bell bottoms big time.
That's true. Yes,
that was my look. And I did wear wild colored T-shirts and stuff.
Right.
High handlebars, all that.
But a typical summer morning, I mean, for us would be not every day. And I think we've talked about this in the past too, but we'd be outside like at 10 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Out in the backyard on the vinyl lawn chairs, right? With the vinyl band lawn chairs that everyone had that you could lean back. I think there was 4 different adjustments to them.
Yeah.
And we had our baby oil, our lemon water, and probably copper tone too.
I can still smell it.
Can't you
I can
smell
it? Yeah.
I bet everyone listening that has ever used copper tone, you can smell it.
Yeah.
I can smell it more from Graham's house in that little bathroom when you'd apply it.
Right.
It just because that little bathroom held everything, right?
It also smelled like Dove soap.
Sun, and you'd have it on. That's all you could smell was copper tone. I love that smell.
Yeah.
You still like copper tone? Is that still a thing?
Oh yeah, you can still get it.
You can tell I don't sit out in the sun anymore. I mean, I know I should have sunscreen, but
copper tone was not really a sunscreen.
No, and we used to buy the copper tone oil too, right?
I don't know.
Crazy.
We should look like leather right now. It's like, yeah.
But yeah, we'd go out at 10, sit out there for a couple hours, come in, have some lunch, and then more than likely go back out again. And that's when we could wear 2-piece bathing suits in the backyard.
Well, speak for yourself.
Oh, no, you wore it.
Maybe.
Or maybe tube tops.
Oh, tube tops, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big thing back then.
That was a big thing. They're very comfy.
It's when we could actually wear them.
They stayed up.
When we didn't need support.
Yeah.
No, not so much.
They were the early days.
Yeah. Before children.
When we looked like tubes.
Yeah. When we could get away with it, for sure.
I had a red and white number I loved. I have a picture of me standing in the backyard with it.
You do?
Yeah.
With your tube top.
With the tube top, yep.
Yeah, you should post that one because I think
I
have it.
It was my look. Oh, God.
I think you sent it to me a while ago and you wouldn't let me post it. But now that we've talked about it, maybe.
It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago and a lot of pounds ago.
But that would be in our later teens that we did this. But in our younger years, Blantyre Park, as we've talked about. Too,
oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We went to that swimming pool. Yeah. Everybody went to that swimming pool.
We walked a lot and rode our bikes too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did.
We lived on our bikes in the summer. I'm sure everybody did. And there's a meme floating around. It came up on my Facebook the other day. It's like our mothers thought we were driving around the block, riding our bikes around the block for 3 hours. Where in fact we went 5 miles, forged a river. We did. Got into all kinds of stuff. I told the story about how I nearly fell down the Scarborough Bluffs before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Terrifying for my friends and even more so for me.
I could imagine.
I think you were there. Weren't you there? You're probably not.
I don't really remember having my own bike. I can remember learning to ride on my older brother, your younger brother's bike over at the Dominion parking lot of Victoria Park and Kingston Road. And he was at Grammy and Grampy's that weekend. Oh. And I was so proud of myself. And I called him when I got home. And 416-461-8496. Graham's number. And And he was home, I swear, within like 20 minutes. He caught the next bus home, took his
Because
bike, and
that
went
was
back
the-
and rode it back to Graham's.
But that was his new bike that he won, right?
Was it the new? No, it was an old red one. I don't think he had won the new one
He was
yet,
just so possessive. That's all.
but I don't think I ever had my own bike.
Hmm.
I don't really remember going for bike rides.
You poor thing.
I know. Maybe that's why I don't like it now. I missed out.
I guess. Well, you're that much younger.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And you
I don't
guys
know why
maybe
you
took
wouldn't-
off with the
Mhm.
neighborhood kids. Maybe you and Arthur, right? Oh, I said his name. You guys would go with the neighbors down the street, and I was that much younger that Mom wouldn't let me, or maybe I had
be.
to stay back and look after play
Well,
with Joe.
yeah, because when I was 10, you were 4. So
Yeah, yeah.
no, she
Yeah.
can't come for a bike ride. Yeah.
But we all did walk to Blantyre,
Her
though.
feet don't touch the pedals. Yeah.
But yeah, and I know. We were also talking like this has almost been a year we've been doing this.
We
now.
started in August. I'll have to look at the exact date, but yeah,
And we probably have repeated stuff along the way.
a little bit.
And we actually did a live from Blantyre Park back in October, right?
We're gonna
Was
have to
that
go to
October. We did
we'll
that.
have to go back to Toronto at some point in the summer.
Yeah, yeah. We gotta
Summer
go
in the
back to
city.
Booth. Yeah,
Yeah.
not if it's this hot.
No.
I'll wait till fall.
No, we'll wait till fall. Yeah, fall's a good time. Yeah, we're also talking. We're hoping. Well, this isn't the 70s, but we're hoping we might. The two of us might go down east in the fall at some point.
Yep.
God
Roach
willing. and-
Sisters road trip
Mm,
would be nice.
the
We're
ancestor
thinking
tour.
Nova Scotia. Maybe
Nova Scotia.
PEI. Nova Scotia.
Cabot Trail,
PEI.
With
I
the
mean,
name- where the name Roach is not embarrassing.
yeah. True enough.
I've got a frog in my throat. We talked. Yeah, what else were we talking about? The people that used to come to our neighborhood and sell things like the I don't know that anybody gets the vacuum cleaner guy at their door anymore. It was always a guy, or the ice cream truck. That I can still hear the like there are ice cream trucks around still.
Yeah.
In neighborhoods, I've heard them.
But you knew what time they were coming and when to have your money ready.
You
right?
could hear them in the next block.
Yeah.
You could hear the music. And all he had to do was wait. See? See? And it was,
And then there was the Dickie D man, the guy, normally a teen sitting on a bike, right?
Right.
Pushing the cart with all the
Right.
frozen ice cream in it.
that's right. And we
Man.
had
Our neighborhood would have been brutal to do that because there were
so
it
many
was
hills.
flat and then hills and
You could kill yourself going down Scarborough Road. You wouldn't go
they
up.
probably never attempted that one.
No. It's probably for the stronger of legs.
And the Fuller Brushman,
Yeah. And the knife guy. The knife sharpener guy.
you'd hear the bell.
The one that traveled around Graham's neighborhood, he was an older Italian fellow, and he looked so threadbare and so worn out. I mean, he just, he pulled his cart behind him and he rang the bell, like the school bell, constantly. You'd hear him come down. And Graham, for a few pennies, he would sharpen a knife or something. Must have been a hard way to make a living.
Yeah, I think she'd get her like clippers.
Oh yeah,
done
he'd
too,
do the
right?
hedges. Yeah, the hedge clippers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
She'd
they
have
were
a
called.
pile of stuff for him. Yeah, but
I don't think the popcorn man ever went down the street, but I can remember coming out of school, Balmy Beach,
yeah, they
in
kind
the
of parked.
spring. Yeah, and they would be at the corner of right across from the school.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Don't.
but which is kind of weird because like, what kids really took money to school to buy?
There were
like, I
kids
don't
with
think
money
we
in their
were-
pocket, even though we didn't have any.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
maybe that just wasn't part of our upbringing to have money in our pocket. In case the
It was like-
popcorn man was outside.
we got like our 10 cents for milk. That was about it to go with our lunch.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so those listening, what was your summer days like? I mean, obviously the earlier 70s was quite different for us, but as we got older, like I said, Deb and I would sit out back And then I think once you kind of moved out, and Mom and I would sit out back and
Hmm.
we'd share a bottle of beer.
Oh,
Mom never really drank beer, but
on a hot day.
yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know if it was kind of just hangover from like when Dad would have beer in the house, but yeah, on a hot summer's day, Mom and I would sit out back and
Hmm.
share one bottle of beer.
And that,
We were
you
big
know,
drinkers back then.
well, but portions were smaller back then too. Like that, when you ordered a
It would have been
Coke,
the stubby bottles, right?
yeah, the little
Yeah, yeah.
stubbies. Yeah. When you order, back then when you ordered a Coke at the soda fountain or whatever, it was like 6 ounces or maybe
Yeah.
10-ounce glass.
Yeah.
It wasn't like your big gulp.
No, oh my gosh, no.
No, not at all. Different perception of portions. Um, what was the other thing we were talking about? Oh, when it was really hot, I think we've talked about before, like trying to camp out on the veranda.
Oh
Our
yeah.
house was like an oven.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the windows hardly opened, and sometimes you get a nice cross breeze because we were near the lake, but mostly it was just like an oven. And
But
we
we
would,
faced east-west, right?
yeah,
Like, so we didn't get a lot of the breeze
right.
coming
Well,
in.
we could open up the front window, like our bedroom windows and the back windows in the boys' room,
Right.
but and sometimes we just stand in the hall, kind of feel it. But the best bet was everybody lived on the veranda. Everybody on our street would be sitting out, and it was all there's this kind of lazy quality to the evening drawing
Mhm.
on, and everybody talking quietly or yelling at their kids. And I just have this picture of looking up the street and seeing cigarette smoke wafting from all the various houses. Like this.
It's
It
so
just
true.
it's true. Yeah. And I remember that sometimes our neighbors would come over and sit with us, and they would maybe bring a beer or have something alcoholic to share.
Yeah. Just sit on the front steps, as we sat on the porch.
Yep. Yep.
And I
Yeah.
think because the
Those were
house
nice.
is so narrow and closed in, right, inside, like, it wasn't open concept at
No.
all, right?
No.
These houses had rooms, right? You had your front room, you had your middle room, the den, and then you had the kitchen, but there was walls all in between.
Hmm.
And so it didn't really allow for a lot of airflow.
No.
You'd walk halfway up the stairs and the
You
heat would just hit you like a wall,
yeah.
right? It was awful. And so a few times we would say, okay, tonight we're going to go sleep out all night on the veranda, right?
Or the
And
backyard. We did try the backyard a couple of times too.
oh, I don't remember the backyard.
Hmm.
All I remember
Hmm.
is going on the front and laying in the lawn chairs with and having our pillow. And once the light went out and the bugs came out, it was it. I think we lasted maybe 10 minutes.
Wasn't
Like
long.
this was not going to happen.
Mom would let us. Oh, sure, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
We never saw the sunrise from the veranda.
No. I don't even think we saw the moon rise.
Well, it was a different time. I mean, that would be fairly risky now,
Oh
but
yeah.
back then, anybody going up and down the street were people you knew.
Yeah. Yeah. No
Camping
strangers.
out, are you girls? It's like
Except for the neighbors that used to hop the roof. But, that's a different story.
they were bad kids.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And I can just also remember being at Graham's on summer's days, too, because her house didn't open except for her front door and her kitchen, right, which was at the back of the house. But her front windows did not open. I think her upstairs window, they didn't even open wide, right?
no.
It was like, what, 6 inches?
They were like painted shut or something. It was like
It was awful.
there was no circulation and
It
no
was
screen.
so hot.
Yeah, it was terrible. The back room window did, and the bathroom window did. But
Mhm.
living at Coxwell and Danforth, she was that much further from the lake too. So it was always 10 degrees warmer at Graham's to begin with in the summer. And we just camped out on her veranda. Like it was the most pleasant
Yeah.
place to be. Or her back porch. She had a little back porch that
Yeah, that's
that
true
got some
too.
nice air. Yeah. But it only had room for like 2 people. So
It's
and we
true.
all kind of crammed in there, sitting where we could. But
Eating
we did.
crackers with strawberry jam and cheese.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Simple snack, but man, it's good.
But I reflect when I think about that. It gives me a real sense of there was a difference in the whole neighborhood. Summer was different. Summer was, the days lasted forever, and
Mhm.
we didn't have any stress. We just sort of went with the flow. You want to drive all the way out to Birchmount? Sure, let's go. Don't tell mom.
Yeah.
Or you go down the beach. We spent more time riding along the boardwalk, and
Well,
we're
at least you
really
did.
well. I did.
I walked.
True enough. And then there was the summer I was in grade 7. Arthur and I took tennis lessons at Q Beach, and it
I
was
don't
the
remember that.
best summer of my life. Oh, it was great. Every day we'd go down, and Arthur was like, and come on, come on, come on. I love tennis so much, and the instructor was really good. So we got to play for hours, and I met people from the beach who I can't think of her name. She ran the tennis club, and she was like Mrs. Davies, I think. She was like Sergeant Major Maggie Smith. She was like she was really a character. Lots of characters back then. But yeah, I couldn't wait to play.
I don't remember that.
That was the best summer.
Remember
Highlight
the
of my
time that you and Kathy went down to the beach and the photographer took pictures of
Oh,
you?
we were in the dinghy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a dinghy. I don't know why we had a dinghy, but yeah.
What,
And we had
yeah,
these
why?
big sun hats. I don't know. And I do have a picture, so he must have given us a picture.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was
Like
two
it was
girls
just an
and a dinghy.
impromptu. Hey, it could have been a TV show.
Could have been. Yeah. I don't know. We were he came over and said, can I take a picture of you girls? And we said, sure. It was down around the canoe club.
Okay.
It would make sense that there'd be a dinghy around the canoe club, but
Yeah, maybe it was just something. Yeah, it's not something you would have brought from her house or from our house, obviously.
no, we did. I think it was Kathy's.
Oh, okay.
I think that Francis bought it, and we took it for a test drive. I don't know.
Hmm.
Because I couldn't swim. We were not wearing life jackets, but we didn't go very far. It's one of those curious memories that I have no.
And I think Mom was very concerned that a stranger was taking pictures of you.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Well, you never know. He might have ulterior motives.
Yeah.
Come and see my etchings. I don't know. Mom, I'm 12. Yeah.
No, you must have been what, 17?
I don't know that. No, it's probably 15.
You think?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a vague memory now.
Well, you have to find the picture. You can post that one. If you find that one, I won't post the two top. Just joking.
I don't know where it is. I might have burned
But
it.
I can see it. I can picture it for sure.
Yeah. Well, Kathy's got the big hat on, and I'm rowing.
I thought you had a big hat on too.
Maybe we both did. We were styling anyway. It
I
must
guess
have.
you were. You
it
must
mu-
have been.
Must have been. We were not glamour girls, so that's for sure. You do know me, right? Yeah. But yeah, there were. I know that a lot of people went up to their cottages in the summer, and I was lucky enough to visit friends who had cottages quite frequently, actually, all over the place. Halliburton and Muskoka, going for rides. Those were really, really special times, especially in high school. Getting away and just hanging out for the weekend. And even those days seemed really long. Like it seemed like we were away a long time.
Yeah, it's different how as we get older things shift. Things go way too fast.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, here we are already in July. Like
I know. It's like is it true? Is this true mathematically? I saw something the other day that said now that we're in July, we're closer to 2050 than we are to the 2000s.
I guess that makes sense. We're just
Mm-hmm.
right because we're
Right.
now over that 6 month.
I guess
Yes, so
Just
that does make sense.
by a few days. God, by
Yeah,
20,
not by much.
by 20, fast forward to 2050, and I don't want to know.
No.
I'll be remembering the 70s. We have to write it all down so we remember.
Yeah, I guess the only time I really went away in the summer was when I joined the militia. I never went to.
You had no friends with
I had
cottages.
no friends with
You
cottages.
had no bike.
Although remember, this would be in the early part of the 70s, we had a cousin that we didn't even know about, and we went up to their cottage,
Oh, he
and
was a
that's where.
stinker.
Oh yeah, he was not a nice man,
No, he
but
was not.
we had a pocket fisherman who would fish off the dock. But no, he was scary. Was he the cousin?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
was
the
his
parents were nice. The parents were cousins of their mom's cousins. I don't even know how we were
think
related.
Dad.
Maybe dad.
Yeah.
But there, it was way up. It was like North
No, but
Bay. It was
Grammy
like,
would have known them. So it
yeah,
must have been on that
yeah,
side.
yeah. It was Lake Nipissing. We drove forever to get there, and we had they were really nice, lovely cottage. They had a boat, which was very scary, but their son, who was a bit older, kept singing "Don't Bogart That Joint."
Yeah.
And
It came to my head as soon as you said that. How did it go? Don't bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over to me. This one has almost burnt to the end. So be a real friend and pass it over to me.
can you?
I mean, how old was I and why do I remember that?
You were like 6. I mean, really?
No, I think it was after Dad had died. So maybe I was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
impressionable, obviously.
Obviously.
His
So I
name
was
was
like,
Jerry.
you're right. Because I
Yes.
keep thinking Mungo Jerry, which is in the summertime, right? You're
Right.
right. You're right. His name was Jerry. What is Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his
He
dad
was
was Ken.
was it
I
Ken and
don't know.
Noreen?
No,
No.
no.
We'll figure that out.
We will.
We'll look at some pictures, maybe. Yeah. But he was much more mature than us and was full of beans and an only child and very spoiled. So,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. So we hung close to Mom that week.
Yeah. Some few awkward moments between him and his father. So
Yeah.
yeah. It was not an enjoyable getaway.
No.
I think we came back a little
Traumatized?
yeah, maybe so.
But we got away.
Woo!
We saw a big lake.
Yeah, I think we all attempted water skiing.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I did. I got halfway across the lake and hit it like cement. I got up.
I think I got up and that was about it.
Yeah, no, I got up and I was doing great. I don't know what happened, but then I was flailing in the I did have a life jacket on. You wouldn't have had a sister after that. I would have been dead, but yeah. But it's really interesting hitting the water at that rate of speed. It wasn't very fast, but it's like hitting a sidewalk.
Yeah. We weren't into the sports really, except for like tennis or badminton. That was about our
baseball.
Yeah, and baseball. Yeah.
Baseball.
But even then, whenever we played baseball, I always seemed to get hit with the ball. It didn't matter. Even in my adult years, like playing with Bruce's friends and that, I always got hit with the baseball. It's just like
that's because you don't get out of the way.
I guess not.
Use your glove. Not your body. Stop stopping the ball with your body. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that doesn't make it very pleasant when you keep getting hit by. It's like dodgeball, It's like,
no, it's kind of like you're waiting for it, but you're like this. No, don't come near me.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, it's not a good thing. Not a good thing.
No.
Yes, those were nice. The world was less. Might have been blown up all around us. We didn't know because it was a different time in our lives, and there were some stressful things that happened in the 70s in Canada. That's for sure. And
that we weren't aware, or I wasn't aware of, anyways.
No.
Unless we watched it on CFTO News Channel 9.
That's true.
Cable 8.
Yes. We have some of our members who were on Uncle Bobby's show.
Yeah.
And who lived near Channel 9. It was up in Agincourt. I was there. I was there for when I was at Ryerson, which would have been 75, 76, for one of the municipal elections. They had their election coverage from that studio. And I was madly in love with Gord Martineau in those days. Oh my God. And he was the anchor. And of course,
Hmm.
and Tom Clark, who had the longest eyelashes I've ever seen. They were very, very nice. And then we went to an after party, and I didn't get home till late, and Mom was very upset. I think I had to take a taxi because there were no buses.
Dear.
But
Yeah,
hello,
Mom
I was over
unfortunately
21.
always kind of rained on our parade when we'd come back like, whoa, and then, oh.
It's true.
Sorry,
It's
Mom. Yeah.
She knows in spirit.
Mhm.
But it's true. We'd be, popping in after having a great time at a party or, and she'd be there with the tea kettle on in the living room, smoking it, the glow of her cigarette, waiting.
And it would be like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Every party has a
It's a
pooper.
pooper. That's why we invited you. Eileen. Party pooper.
It must have been hard for her, though, to see us having, not that she begrudged us, but,
No.
she and Dad were only married 14 years. 15 years.
15,
And
yeah.
that's not really, now that we're older in the tooth, not really a long time to be with the love
Not
of
at
your
all.
life. No.
No.
And to see us, and to her credit, we grew up as, social butterflies and, really,
No, we had great neighbors, right? As we've talked about before,
yeah,
that you knew if Mom wasn't home for whatever reason, you could knock on, just knock and walk in, right? You didn't have to wait for them to come to the door.
yeah,
You could just go in and, or if I was home after school by myself, I could go to Mrs. Jaffrey and say, I'm a little nervous, or Mr.
yeah,
Jaffrey, because Mrs. Jaffrey actually worked. So it would have
yeah,
been Mr. Jaffrey.
yeah.
But we
That's
always
right.
had people we could count on, and
Yep.
and everybody, especially in the summertime when we were out and about doing all the things, someone always knew where we were, right?
Mostly.
Or on someone's porch. Remember sitting on the Jaffrey's porch? It was the summer of Stock Ticker. Remember that game?
Oh, yeah.
We played that. And then on the Francis's back porch, Monopoly was the big one.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Monopoly.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
I like all the versions that they have. It's like, oh, that's cool, but I'd never play it. So
No, I always lost. I always lost my money. It was no fun. What do you mean you get a hotel on there? Yeah, I was never competitive like that to build up a fortune. It was not a game that appealed to me. But
Mm.
Clue. I like Clue.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Clue.
We had
Definitely.
Clue. The Game of Life. I vaguely remember. But we had all the board games. We never played them at home much.
No, not really.
We played crib.
Yes. Yeah. Graham was a
Cribbage.
fierce crib player.
She was good.
I don't
Yeah.
ever remember really playing Mum, but every time I was at Graham's, as I was older, we played all the time.
I have her crib board.
Oh, do you really?
The
I have one
plastic-
just like it, actually,
the
that I
plastic
found
29?
at the antique Aberfoyle Antique Market.
Oh,
So yeah, the
very
plastic
cool.
29. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. As soon as I saw it, I went, oh yeah, I
think it's
gotta
got-
have this.
I think it's got its pegs. We'll have to play crib one day. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Crib is great.
I'm really quite rusty. It's been a long time. But yeah, just it was a time of playing games and just being free. That was
Well, yeah, and I can even remember when I was younger and I played Barbies, like sitting out on the front porch, and I had my array, took over the whole veranda with all my Barbie stuff, right? And Mrs. Dempsey, one of our neighbors, she used to crochet me Barbie clothes. So
She
I
did.
had tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was amazing. She was such a nice lady.
See, you didn't have a bike, but you had Barbie clothes. There's a trade-off there.
Yeah. Well, remember, and I think I mentioned this before too, that we used to get at the end of the school year, if we passed, which we all did, we'd get a gift. And that was the thing. That's probably why I never had a bike. Because Mom and Dad wanted to buy me a bike, but I went for the pogo stick.
I
Remember the
that.
red pogo
I
stick?
remember that.
And they kept trying to talk me into a bike, but I wanted this pogo stick, and I used that. I
But
can
it's
still hear
really
that.
hard-
You always knew where I was.
But it's really hard to, we're going for a bike ride, Wendy pogoing behind us.
That's why I never had a bike.
Well, that's
It's all coming back to me now.
That explains it then.
There we go.
That's
So it's not that I went without, I chose. not to have one.
Well, we used to put our bikes under the veranda.
Mm-hmm.
There was the what was it? It was a piece of like lattice that was at
Yeah.
the side. But then the skunks moved in. Remember that
That's
time?
right, too. Yeah.
I went to get out my bike one day and there was like a skunk in the under the veranda, and I don't think I rode it for a couple of days and we opened the thing so that skunk could go out, but it had taken up residence there. And Mom, I don't know how we got rid of it. It finally went away. We could use our bikes, but then we started to stand them up beside the house.
Yeah,
We
that's
didn't do
right.
that. We didn't do that anymore.
Remember
Yeah.
how narrow it was to get into the backyard too? That
Literally, it was
it
3
fit a
feet.
push mower, right? Basically.
Yeah, it was like 2.5 feet between
Yeah.
houses. Yeah.
It's so narrow.
You could hardly get you had to put your bike on like the handlebars on an angle to get them in. Like the tire couldn't go all the way sideways or it wouldn't fit.
That's right.
It was
That's
that
right.
Yeah, it was narrow.
It's probably
Yeah.
still that way too.
Well, now they've got kind of a privacy fence. I noticed the
That's
last time I drove by.
right.
The whole house looks so different. It looks
Yeah,
so
yeah.
different. They totally
I believe it
renovated.
now. It is open concept to what we had.
Yeah, there are no walls. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That would be
The air can
weird.
flow free.
Yeah. Fly free. Yeah, no. They probably have air conditioning in too.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah.
But those are the good old days when you just sweat.
It's no wonder I had my hair dryer out 20 times a day fixing my hair. That was before the age of hair straighteners, right? I can see me up in the bathroom straightening my bangs, which I actually did before this live tonight because my bangs were.
See, mine just go blop. I was fluffy. Got my hair cut yesterday, and it was fluffy until I had a nap, and then it just goes. So
No, mine goes the exact opposite.
no, it just does its thing. My hair has its own will.
I have like a little weird thing that crimp that goes under there.
Oh yeah, a little whirly thing. I've got one in
Yeah.
the center. Yeah, and at the back. When I went to the hairstylist yesterday, she said, "Oh, you're winging both ways. Time to cut it."
What do they call that?
A whirl.
Let us know because I can't remember. But I guess we're going on a little long in the tooth, but
Well, it's been about a half hour-ish.
37, 38 minutes.
Oh, there's a timer. Oh yeah, there. Hi. There.
But I hope everyone enjoyed the quiz last week. That was a lot of fun to do, right? And
It was good.
a lot
Thank
of
you,
people,
Quizmaster.
yes, and lots of people let us know how they did, and so I think the quizzes always go over well. So we may have to have Quizmaster Amy back for the civic holiday.
There we go.
Is that what they call it? Is it named anything else, or is it just the civic holiday?
Civic holiday. Oh,
Yeah, I
Simcoe,
think
Simcoe Day.
It used to be Cinco Day. Now
And
it's just-
actually, well, Simcoe, of course, was the first governor, and he resided here in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which
there you
was
go.
the original capital of Ontario. So Navy Hall was his house, actually.
Hmm,
Mhm. Yes. First
interesting.
newspaper was here. We're a city, a little town of firsts. Yes.
And there's a lot of ghosts.
Steeped in history and the paranormal. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Big
For
time.
sure. For sure. Yeah. That's a whole other show. But something else popped into my mind, but it's gone now. So thank you for listening to whatever this was.
Lots
We
of
are-
fun. And I hope you enjoy the lives. I mean, you can always, if you like to listen to it, you can play it back in your ears. You don't have to watch us.
Oh, I
So
know what it
there's-
was. Here's a memory. If
Okay.
if Kimmy's listening, we used to walk along the boardwalk, and Judy and Kimmy and I would sing. Of course, we were singing all the time, and we walked along practicing Delta Dawn, and that was we had other songs in our repertoire, but that was the one that we were working on. So we're walking by and we're singing, and this guy is sitting on a bench. We were quite far along. It was sort of near the Ludi station, I think, the Coast Guard station. And he made a comment like, you guys suck, or, you need some work, or he wasn't being mean. He was just making a comment. And so we went off and practiced and came back and gave him a concert. I'll never forget that. And we were good. I mean, we really had the harmony bang on. and he applauded. He thought that was much better. I'll never forget that. But those are the kinds of memories. We just were free. We sang. We didn't care who listened.
Yeah, getting up on a Saturday morning and watching all the cartoons.
Yeah.
You know, the Archies, you know, Josie and the Pussycats, like Bugs Bunny, you know, like they were
Yep.
just classic cartoons. Probably
Was-
Scooby-Doo was in there too.
Yep. Those were good days. So, you know, in this dumpster fire of a world, it's nice to kind of go back and reminisce and remember when times were simpler. But
I
remember
know.
also, you know, kindness is that people are still kind. They're still looking to help, and they're still, you know.
I know. I really need to get off TikTok because it's just so sad
Mhm.
what's going on out there. I mean, and then every once in a while a funny one shows up, right? And so, you know, that kind of breaks your mood. But yeah, it really is doom scrolling, and I have to
Yeah.
stop because my mental health is not good.
Yeah. Well, there's
It's
nothing
just
we
too
can do.
much.
There's nothing we can do to
No.
help except pray, of course, or in our own small way, in our own small corner of the world, do nice things. I
Yeah.
think if we do nice things, that has ripple effects. You know, a simple kind of somebody held the door for me the other day, and I went, "Thank you very much." You know, it just lifted my spirit.
Yeah.
So doing little things like that might not seem like a lot, but it helps. And
Yeah, you have to find what brings you joy as well,
absolutely.
and what will give joy as well.
What I saw, all these pithy things on Facebook lately, it said that, you know, a ship stays afloat on the water quite easily, but when there's a leak, the water comes in, the ship sinks. So you have to be careful not to let the water in. You know, so the bad news coming in can really affect us and make it tricky to keep afloat. And so I'm really mindful of that. I'm trying every day to do something that I love. I'm making bracelets and doing things that give me joy. Not ignoring the plight of the human people, you know, and sending prayers and help as I can, but um, also being in charge of my own ship, kind of thing.
You really have to be, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's hard not to have it affect you, but you're right. There's nothing we can do um, for the majority of it, and except pray, like you said.
It
It's
just
just
it's so
it's
upsetting.
makes so heavy. It's
Yeah.
so heavy. I
Well,
like to go for
yeah.
car drives and play my favorite music,
There you
and
go.
you know, and just sing at the top of my lungs. Sometimes when I'm heading to Toronto on the weekend, I have no voice by the time I get there because I've just been singing my little heart out, right?
That's perfect. That's exactly what we need to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go have the
Find your
popcorn
favorite.
from the popcorn guy. Go for it.
Yeah.
Eat
Or
that
the
ice
movie
cream.
theater.
Or
Take
go
it
to
to
the
go. You don't have to
yeah,
watch a
woohoo.
movie.
That's
During
true.
COVID, we ordered so much. We went in because they were open, right? So you could have it delivered then because you weren't allowed to go in. But you know, every once in a while, I don't because I'm not a moviegoer until Downton Abbey comes out in September.
Well, there
That's
you
a
go.
different story.
November for me, but
But yeah. But yeah, just go in and grab yourself a bag of popcorn and take it home and watch your favorite movie there, right?
let's do it tonight. It's still early. Come on.
I've had wine. I can't go, but you go.
I can
Yeah,
go.
do it,
Well, I
man.
can't. I've got popcorn here. I can make popcorn
That's true. You can make your own, but
I
there's
can
something
watch
about the
Wicked.
movie theater. Oh.
for the 29th time. I'm terrible.
Okay, well, here we are 8 minutes later.
Okay,
Still
goodbye,
going
everyone.
on. Anyways, guys, take care. Stay cool. And
Yes.
we'll be back next week.
Yes, for sure. Bye.
Bye.